Lesson 7.1, we will define systems of equations, define income and cost, and find the break-even point graphically. Alright, so systems is something a little bit new. This is simply going to be more than one line. We've been doing linear equations for a while now, and that's just simply one straight line. Now we're going to look at two different things. So I want you to take a moment, go ahead and pause it, read the scenario, look at the table, and see if you can answer the question that it is asking. It says, the table below shows the cost and income of Jay's lawn care business based on the number of yards he cares for. Estimate the break-even point for Jay's business. Use a complete sentence to explain how you found your answer. So again, go ahead and pause it and see if you can find the break-even point. See if you know what break-even means. Break-even simply means if I'm paying for materials for my lawn care business. Materials might be gasoline, maintenance on my lawnmower. I might have to pay someone to drive me to these lawns. So those are my outgoing costs. Income would simply be the money that I'm making from each lawn. Now, at some point, I have to pay those people who are driving me there, or I have to buy gasoline. So I have to know what my actual profit is. So where I'm going to break even, where my income and my cost are the same. And you have to look here at this table. So here I'm paying out $75 for 0 yards, and I'm bringing in no dollars, okay? Here I'm spending $100, and I'm only bringing in $75, so I'm still less. Here, I bring in, let's see, my cost is $125. Oh, but this time I made $150. So am I starting to make money here? I am. So somewhere between 5 yards, where I'm only bringing in $75, my income is still less than my cost. I'm still losing money. And 10 yards, where my income is now greater than my cost, is my break-even point, okay? So it's going to be right in here between these two right here, okay? Between 5 and 10 yards. Now you estimate, where do you think that, about how many yards do you think that they're going to actually break even? Well, I put mine here, and I put that it's between 5 and 10 yards, and I'm going to say approximately 8 yards. I have no idea what the answer is. I'm thinking that it has to be somewhere between these. I'm leaning a little bit closer to 10, okay? But the break-even point has to be somewhere between here. So let's look at this because we want to do this graphically. Here's the graph that shows that, okay? Oh, shoot. Alright, here's a graphical representation of the function table that we had on the screen before. So all somebody did is they graphed this, okay? They made their ordered pairs for cost, 0,75, 5,100, 10,125. That was one line. Then we made a separate line, and we did 0, 0, 5, 75, 10, 150, okay? Because now we have two things. We're not just looking at cost, but we're looking at cost and income. So we have two lines. Here we have our x-axis, number of yards. Here we have money. And then we have our income line that's been graphed and our cost line. This is a system of equation. Okay? So let me pull this out here. Okay? Take a minute, pause it, give yourself a definition. I'm not going to spell one out for you. You need to come up with a definition for yourself. Okay? The system of equation is two lines that are being compared on the same graph. Okay? Now, the question was asking about the break-even point. Okay, so let's actually look here. Let me get a pen. Okay, here we go. Look at where these two lines cross. Right here. Let me make sure you can see that. Alright, you can. We're good. Okay, here's the break-even point where my cost and my income become the same. They are the same number. Okay, so as much as I'm spending on my fuel, I'm also bringing in the same amount of income when I mow these yards. So let's see if I was right. I said it would be 8 yards, okay? I was a little off. Let me draw this line down right here. All right, my line gets a little crooked. It's somewhere between 6 and 8, and it honestly looks a little closer to 7, okay? 7, maybe 7.5, all right? So we're just going to say that at approximately, based on the graph, at 7.5 yards, I will have made the same amount that I'm putting out in cost. I will break even. I will owe anybody money, and I will have not earned any money. Okay? And that, so at 7.5 yards, I will have made somewhere between $100 and $125. Let's pretend that that is, let's say it's 120. So at 7.5 yards, I've made $120. That is my break-even point. What happens after 7.5 yards? Yeah, I start making money. So I have to mow at least 7.5 yards to make any money. Or I should just be sitting at home playing video games because I'm just losing money. Okay? Now, here's the other things you need to know. This is your break-even point. You need to give yourself a definition of that. Where those two equal, my cost and my income. My income, that's money that you make, okay, money that you bring in. And cost, that's money you have to subtract. Please make sure you pause this and get all of your definitions down. Very important. All right. Write the equation for cost. So what I've done here is I've taken the function table from the very first slide and I covered up the income because I want you to do this a step at a time. So I want you to pause this and I want you to write the equation. I've kind of started you here. You're going to need a slope. You're going to need a y-intercept, and then you put those bad boys together, okay? So what two formulas are you going to need to find the slope in the equation? Give me the first equation. Good. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You can do that pretty easily. The y-intercept, how are you going to do that? Well, there's a couple of ways. Let's see if you figure it out. Pause it. Do this on your own. Here's how you find the slope, the change in y over the change in x. So my slope is 5. Okay? Y-intercept, couple of different ways. Let's see if you did it the easy way or the hard way. All right, here's the hard way, this math right here. You pick an ordered pair, and you put it into y equals mx plus b. Ooh, I wanted to type that. Y equals mx plus b. Okay? My m was 5. I plugged in an x value from over here. I plugged in a y value that corresponded with it. I solved for b. Anybody figure out the easy way? Yeah. When x is 0, y has to be that's your y-intercept. When x is 0, whatever this number is, that's your y-intercept. So this one is 75. So the equation for this, for the cost, is 5x plus 75. Okay? All right, you got one more equation to write. Here's the other one. Same thing. I blacked out the cost this time, and now you have income. Pause it, and you write the equation. Here's slope. This, oh, that was supposed to be a 15. The slope of this one is 15. Y-intercept, did you do the hard way or the easy way? I hope you did the easy way. That when x is 0, y, that is your y-intercept. That's where the line's going to hit the y-axis. That's b. Put the whole thing together. Here's the equation of this line. Y equals 15x plus 0. Now, those are your two equations. You can graph them from there, which we've already done right here. Okay? Your last thing that you have to do, it's great that you know those equations, but you need to know what they mean. So when I check your notes tomorrow, this is what I'm going to be looking for. We came up with the two equations. I want one sentence for cost about what the y-intercept means in terms of cost. So go back to that function table. If this is 75, what does that mean on the y-axis? X had to be 0. Go back to your function table or your graph here. When X is 0, I have done no yards at all. How can my y-intercept be 75? Tell me what that means. What does that mean in terms of dollars? Same thing for here. Income. When my y-intercept is 0, what does that mean in terms of yards and the money that I'm bringing in? What does that mean? I want a sentence about each one of these. So that would be 2 sentences. 1 for cost, 1 for income. If you don't have that, your notes are not going to be complete.